Hello dear RimWorld players, I'm Athalas, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to look at the story of an escaped Beliar and try to survive 100 days in RimWorld. This is my first playthrough video, that is why your comments are very important to me, because I can continue to produce similar videos in the future if you like and want to see more. Since the timing was important, I wanted to chop down this adventure into several episodes. So in this episode we are going to observe the first 20 days of an escaped Beliar. Everything started with an escape pod hitting to the ground into a desert near the Gaia lake. This desert has seen much. Tribal impids fighting for dominance, nearby insect hives, and no sane person to trade. This was a perfect location for a psychopath, for Vacunath. Years of fighting made her a tough rock that was impossible to break. We'll see if the desert is hard enough to crack her open. She wasn't very hungry, and there were nothing to eat except the desert tortoises. She needed to find a place to live before the food. Even though the desert was completely abandoned, there were buildings which she can settle down and devour his hunt. And there was a particular one, complete and unharmed. She started to take down the walls and see what is inside. Alas, the place was crowded with mechanical abominations who immediately attacked without a mind, like a hive. She crushed them one by one, and her Beliar rage tended her wounds. But she was tired and hungry. After this long fight, the time has come to the tortoises. Vacunath's body was completely healed after a day, and this meant that it was time to build her little encampment into this abandoned crypt, and open those caskets when the time is right. She was hungry, and the desert was not providing something, and this brought the first rage. She wanted to attack everything in her sight, but even the wildlife was gone. During this rage, the first scouts of the enemy had spotted. They were coming, and they were edible. It was a child's play to kill those impids. She only swinged her blade for 2 times and the raider's arm was gone. The raider fell down with the pain. There were no slaves for Vacunath, but at least meat has been found. At the day 3, her food is gone again. She was starving until Thrumbos come into her sight. It would be a tough fight, but harming them and letting them bleed was an option. She was going to live with those meat for at least 3 more days. The next day still was in shortage. Vacunath started to deconstruct the ancient steel walls and collect them until she found out there was a traveler named Romulus passing by. She thought this might be a great slave for my dream community. She immediately built a shack for her prisoner and imprisoned Romulus to be enslaved. Unfortunately, Romulus and Vacunath's wounds are infected until the lights of the next day. Vacunath was a super immune Beliar, but Romulus wasn't so lucky. The wisest thing was to strip her off and wear her armor before making it tainted, since she will undoubtedly expire during the next 2 days. The desert was the harshest climate. That of Romulus was going to feed Vacunath. With her heart stopping, a raiding party consisting of impets appeared to attack Vacunath. She was hungry, but this wasn't going to affect her fighting unless she got a mental break. This mental break forbid her to catch the impets, and the impets took what they can and run. Not long after, another raid appeared and did the same thing. Vacunath was not able to respond during her berserk breakdown. The breakdown ended and she slept until the day 10. This day was a long-waited day. She was going to open the caskets to see what is inside. She had her armor and weapon ready. The caskets were full with armed people, 2 of them ready to fight. The others were wounded and she was no medic. One by one, she carried them to the prisoner's room and tried to tend their wounds, until the mental break kicked in again. With her berserk rage, she cut off the right leg of Emily, her new prisoner, and left her die bleeding. The others were already down and didn't suffer from her rage. Right after the mental breakdown, a transport pod raid occurred. A pigman with a Molotov cocktail fell right into the prison, but luckily Vacunath was there to save the day. But the biggest problem is that she forgot the body there and prisoner Moon died because of lung growth. Next days were complete suffering. All the meat was gone. She killed everything she could find in this sand dune. She even killed penguins, even though she did not know what the fuck penguins were doing in the desert. At that night, food scarcity and lung growth took her last prisoner. More meat for the Beliar. Upcoming days were only to survive. She beat lions of the savannah, butchered them while her body was reconstructing itself like a machine designed for survival. The impetus, on the other hand, was not letting her rest. She was cutting them like a chunk of butter. That day, she took a prisoner. The prisoner was not good enough to serve even as a slave, but he might be an offering to the god of carnage. The lack of food and presence of sweat and vomit around forced her to build a power source, a wind turbine to power a nutrient dispenser. She built those two at 18th day to say goodbye to the food poisoning and wastefulness. Every part of the hunt should have been used, and the hunt was nothing other than a lion, the king of these lands. With this, first 20 days of Vacunath was over. This episode was just to survive, and the next episode will be full with slavery. If you would like to see the next part of their adventure, please subscribe and open the notifications. Also, I'd like to hear your own ideas about a Beliar playthrough, therefore share them in the comments down below. For now, goodbye.